Hello, welcome back. This is the second in the series of physical investment. I just want to do a reminder. If anything causes pain or discomfort or doesn't feel right for your body, stop, pause, um, take a moment break from that activity. And if you can figure out how to alter it so that it works for your body, find someone to help you problem solve. Ask questions, figure out what does work for you. So last time we went over like kind of cardio, some stretching, and some strengthening. And I want to say about cardio for this one, a great environment if walking on land doesn't work for you is walking in water. I spent many years doing work in aquatic therapy and people loved it, especially if they were recovering. And once they were medically cleared to get in a pool after a joint replacement, they could really get mobility and weight bearing in water that they couldn't get on land. And I always thought of it as being that water's been used therapeutically since the Roman times that we know of. And so, if something's lasted that long and been so beneficial, it's not surprising that people still have great results from it. So, another cardio option, and again, you can pause it now, go access it, or do it later. You can walk on land or walking in water. Going forward and backwards is usually great there too because it's easy not to run into things as long as you have a clear lane that you're working with. And you can really work the leg muscles in a different way by walking backwards. So today I was inspired by someone I was working with who said they love doing things in chairs because they find themselves in chairs. So if you need a stretch for the hamstrings, these muscles in the backs of the legs that can get tight, this is how to do it in a chair. So finding this position, back nice and long. And as you extend the leg out, you shouldn't feel any change to a neutral, pain-free back. If your back is already painful or there's something going on, stop, problem solve, get into a different position if the chair is not working for you. But if you're okay in the chair, you can lengthen the leg out. If you feel a stretch in the back of the leg, but not the back, you can stretch in this position. It doesn't matter what it physically looks like as long as it's aligned, as long as you're getting the stretch in the leg, not the back. Back should stay neutral as the pelvis tips forward. And so again, if you don't feel that stretch, you can tip it forward until, oh yeah, I feel my hamstrings really stretching. I don't feel it in the back. And then I'm going to take that 45 seconds as I breathe here and let the muscles in the back of the leg release. Good, breathing nice and deeply into this. And this can be great if you're in a waiting room and you have some time to kill because your hamstrings can get really tight, pull on the pelvis, which can alter your back mechanics. Breathing here. And again, you're going for 45 seconds because that's really where it changes the elasticity of that muscle so that it lengthens. If you can't do that long, if you find something starts happening, again, that's when you hit the pause button and come out of it if it's not working for you. And then bringing this back and switching to the other side. And the two sides can be different. So again, just like anything, if on this side your hamstring is fully lengthened, you feel a stretch. And if you go forward anymore, you start to feel in the back. You stay right there. So again, being really conscientious. If you don't feel any stretch and you tip the pelvis up and over ever so slightly, and then you feel it, and again, I'm keeping my back neutral. I'm not rounding it, which can put kind of disc material going into those spinal nerves and be really uncomfortable. If you've been driving a long time, this might be great getting out of your car. Breathing here in and out. And feeling the hips right here where the movement takes place, not in the back. my hamstrings tend to be really tight. I have to work on my body. My body is full of things that are a little different from side to side. That's somewhat normal. I mean, paying attention to these and working with these things. And then the hamstrings are engaged, are stretched out. So the other muscles, I want to kind of stay with these muscles on the backs of the legs, and I want to look at a strengthening exercise next, and these are for the gluteal muscle. So I'm going to turn around, and they're the buttocks muscle. So if you were wearing pants, you would slide your hands into pockets and they'd be underneath you. To engage these muscles, you squeeze the buttocks together, engaging them. And you can do this in standing, in sitting, lying down, any position that's comfortable, and then relaxing them. So again, this is an isometric. I'm going to sit down and do it. So maybe if you've done your stretch before, now you can isometrically engage those buttocks muscles. And I feel a little bit stronger on my right side than my left side. Again, you might notice that one side fires a little bit differently, or turns on or contracts a little bit differently. And I'm breathing here in and out as I feel that engagement. And then finding when it fatigues, letting it go, relaxing. And then again, engaging them. And again, this is something you could do while waiting in an office. No one's going to know. And as long as it doesn't cause pain, again, if pain arises, or if there's something that doesn't feel right, always ask questions, get answers to that. And relaxing that. I can talk as I'm doing this because I'm still breathing. So red lights, that can be a time where I kind of do isometrics. If I'm driving in my car, I'm at a red light, I can squeeze my buttocks muscles and keep a foot on the brake. So I'll demonstrate that, like I'm moving it as I'm engaging that, which is interesting. And then bringing that back. So playing around, and that becomes harder as I was engaging and lengthening that leg into that kind of hamstring stretch position where I was simulating that. I felt that it was really hard to maintain that left side because I was suddenly bringing movement into it. These are extremely important too for when you're doing knee bends. If you're squatting kind of to lift something, you want to engage these, because for me, I find there's a counterbalance between the front and back. Like if I'm engaging my abdominal muscles, I need something to anchor me back here. Recently, I'll get down into this position. I was doing a CPR workshop and I was hinging forward at my hips to do my pumps. And I was squeezing my gluteal muscles like crazy because I was worried that my back would go and become super painful if I just hinged forward here. I did not let it come from my back, right? So going back to the hamstring stretch, I kept it out of the back by engaging my core muscles and then anchoring it with these glute muscles. So, you know, in the case of an emergency, if I ever had to use CPR, I would be like really taking care of my body so you could literally take care of someone else in their most dire moment of need. So yeah, thank you for joining me again. So giving a little cardio tidbit, some strength and some stretching ideas for what you can do, and combining these, mixing them up and finding what interests you, what questions arise, and how you can integrate this into your everyday life. Thank you.